As we come on the air tonight, a live look right now of the I-74 bridge, which you could barely see just a half hour ago. An advisory will be in effect into your morning commute. James Sahara is also tracking another system moving in overnight. Right now at 10, new developments tonight in the case against the former director of the Freight House Farmers Market. She's taking a plea deal. We'll have a live update on the case tonight from Davenport. Plus, Congressman Eric Sorensen in the Quad Cities focusing on veteran health care.
You know what? The federal government should help there.
Tonight, we'll also tell you about a bill he's introduced that could help veterans make their homes more accessible. And later, Moline, set to buy 8 acres of state land along the riverfront.
Everyone I've been working on the past 6 months.
Tonight, how this fits into a bigger plan. News 8 at 10 starts right now. Breaking as we come on the air tonight, ABC News projects former President Donald Trump will win the New Hampshire primary. Thanks for joining us tonight at 10. ABC News estimates only 60% of the votes are counted right now. Minutes ago, we learned Trump has a 54% of the vote right now. Former South Carolina Governor Nikki Haley was the only other major Republican challenger tonight. She is in second place right now with 44% of the votes. Just within the last 90 minutes, Trump spoke with his supporters there. Here's some of what he had to say.
We have no choice. If we don't win, I think our country is finished. I do. I believe our country is finished. We have an opportunity to do something so amazing.
Former South Carolina Governor Nikki Haley also addressed her supporters tonight.
Most Americans do not want a rematch between Biden and Trump. The first party to retire its 80-year-old candidate is going to be the party that wins this election.
The Republican Nevada primary is up next.
And I think it should be the Republicans that win this election.
The Republican Nevada primary is up next on February 6th, and they caucus 2 days later. Then Republican candidates will head to South Carolina at the end of next month. President Joe Biden's campaign released this statement tonight saying in part, quote, "While we work toward November 2024, one thing is increasingly clear today. Donald Trump is headed straight into a general election matchup where he'll face the only person to have ever beaten him at the ballot box. President Biden is expected to win the Democratic primary in New Hampshire as well tonight." In our other top story tonight, the former Freight House Farmers Market executive director pled guilty to theft charges today. That decision comes a year after Davenport police arrested her. Jonathan Fong is live in Davenport tonight. Jonathan, what can you tell us about this agreement?
John, that plea deal was submitted to the Scott County Court this Monday at the end of the day on that Monday. Now, the court accepting that plea this morning. Now, Laureen Beeman pleaded guilty to second-degree theft, which is a Class D felony here in Iowa. Just down the street from the courthouse, that's where Beeman used to run Freight House Farmers Market. She had her own business there, and she was accused of stealing more than $10,000 from the market's funds to benefit that business. Now, as part of the plea deal, prosecutors recommend supervised probation and restitution. Now, all of that will be discussed at a sentencing hearing here at the Scott County Courthouse. That's going to happen later in mid-April. For now, live in Davenport, Jonathan Fong, WQAD News 8.
All right, Jonathan, thank you. And we have an update on a burglary investigation in Muscatine. Last week, we told you police arrested a man after he was allegedly spotted in the Welch Apartments. Those have been vacant for several months due to structural issues. Today, Miguel Salcedo was charged with an additional 14 counts, including burglary and trespassing. Investigators say they've been working with former residents to return stolen items they were forced to leave behind when they were evacuated. All right, let's get to weather tonight. A dense fog advisory is in effect right now for all of our hometowns. Visibility right now is a challenge, James. We just started seeing the I-74 bridge arches not that long ago.
Yeah, I think the big concern is going to be here that we're going to expect to see some sudden changes in the visibility than anything. Kind of like we saw on the I-74 bridge, where a half an hour ago, you could not even see the bridge at all. and it has improved nicely, and we've been seeing it off and on in other areas along our traffic camera network of Interstate 74. Let's get to look at some of the visibility that we have. And you really have to focus on those orange patches, and that's indicating where that visibility is pretty low. I expect it not to be very patchy as we make our way through the night, but a bit more widespread as we go through the rest of the night into early tomorrow morning. So yeah, there's your dense fog advisory out, widespread until 9 a.m. tomorrow. Really prepare for those sudden changes in the visibility over short distances and keep the low beams on. That's the best rule of thumb if you're going to be out and about, especially in open areas. Let's not forget we've got rain on the way, and that is located to our south and west, and there is the potential for some of that rain to even freeze, and we're kind of looking at maybe a light glaze in areas more north and west of the Quad Cities. Currently at the airport, 37 degrees under cloudy skies and a light east wind at 8 miles an hour. Still not quite done with our multiple rounds of wet weather. We'll tell you when the next will be arriving, coming up in just a few minutes, John.
All right, James, thank you. An Illinois congressman is working to improve health care for veterans. That was part of Representative Eric Sorensen's roundtable discussion in East Moline this afternoon. He focused on mental health and helping veterans find jobs after leaving the military. Sorensen is also proposing a new House bill which would help disabled veterans make their homes more accessible.
So, for instance, if a veteran is now in a wheelchair and has steps to get into his or her house, right? You know what? The federal government should help there. We need to make sure that these veterans can have the ramp to get into their home or have the wheel-in shower.
Sorensen's proposed grant program would give up to $10,000 for those who qualify. The bill still needs to be discussed by the House. And new tonight at 10, Moline City Council unanimously approved the mayor's choice for a new alderman. Dan McNeil will serve as the city's 6th Ward alderman. The seat has been vacant since last month after Alderman Pat O'Brien passed away. McNeil is the executive director of Spring Forward, a local nonprofit that provides after-school programs. Mayor Sangeetha Rayapati says this experience, along with McNeil's volunteer work, makes him the best candidate.
His experience on the park board, especially for 3 years, and knowledge of community issues because of his profession. And I think that's good as we make decisions about how to meet needs for all of our residents.
The city says McNeil will be sworn in by February 8th. City Council also approved the $340,000 purchase of land near the I-74 bridge. The city will buy 8 acres of land from the Illinois Department of Transportation. The DOT says that's extra property after building the new I-74 bridge. The land is within the Moline Riverfront Master Plan to revitalize downtown. City leaders say developers have already come up with several ideas.
February 10th, MKSK is going to be actually holding a series of meetings here in the city, and you'll be able to see the 3 options that they've already developed for the property, which the task force and everyone have been working on the past 6 months.
Now, planners hope to have the Riverfront Master Plan ready by late summer. All right, coming up, some people say they've gotten a check in the mail from Apple. Our Verified team looks into whether these unexpected payments are legit. You're watching News 8 at 10.